Hi, everybody. Don't know how many of you are in the room. You can see if you watch my show regularly, I'm doing a little rearranging. I put the world grid for 2026 behind me, and I'm going to be clearing some things out of my office and rearranging things. And it's just been time. And that's why many of you probably haven't seen me around all that much. Um, sure hoping somebody shows up. I sent my link out to remind you to be here. Let's see what we're going to start with today. We're going to start with when I see someone shows up. Hello. Okay, what are my plans? What's been going on? Well, I'm in one of those times when I started a new doctor, so he has to do all the things the way he does them. But I'm really happy with his practice. I'm happy. Hi, Catherine T. Um, I'm happy with his practice and how he's running things. He did a blood work test, and then he gave me a whole sheet that evaluated it in terms you could use. Like there's a blood test they can run to see if you're still insulin resistant, and I still am, and I thought I was. And my last doctor just gave me a glucose monitor and said watch it, and I never go outside the range, but that kind of thing. It also had some other specifics, and it also said that chemically inside, I'm not doing as well as everyone thought I was doing, which doesn't amaze me at all. And he has coming up with some clear prescriptions, and we're running some deeper tests that other doctors don't. You have to get really, really bad before they do them. And actually, if they do them when early, you can just kind of wipe stuff off your slate. So next week's going to be going back to the doctor's week, and for some reason, that's the same reason I've sort of slowed down my psychic profiles, although I'm starting to kick those back up and get them going again. I've really appreciated the feedback I've gotten to the psychic profiles. But for the bunch of you that are here already, hi Mimi, hi Catherine, I'm going to cut over to my other camera. And I threw a garden read for us for the collective for the next week. And if you follow my channel, you know, hi PJ Finn, you know that Jeffrey and I do a reading every Friday night, except I put mine up early yesterday because I tape them and I kind of get them all ready for Jeffrey and I to post. And I made a mistake and I had to go back and edit the reel because it came out all as one long reading. So I'm having to go back and edit the readings apart. But this is the reading for the people today watching this show. If you're interested in our weekly wanderings, Jeffrey does tarot, I do the garden, and we kind of put our messages together. What we see is, for those of you who aren't familiar with the garden, the outer ring is mostly chakra points, and the inner side are true, go for it, past, restate, false, path forward, present, future, and then in the center are the four spiritual values: the fire, air, water, and earth. And the way these are interpreted is we've got the mind. This stone means the five things I read are body, mind, spirit, grounding, and clarity. And for the body today, our mind is in the outer chakras, and it says that creativity is our key to security, and our mind must be aligned with our own creative thoughts. In other words, what's really important to us, not a thought someone else imposed on us, but dealing with our own thoughts. That's how the collective's going to make it through this week. And then everybody else was in the center. They're in the grounding things. And the body says we need to embody our past. That means the more shadow work you've done, the more letting go of things that aren't really you, so that just you is coming into your life. That's really important right now. Spirit is in earth, and spirit in earth says we're transforming. Transformations are happening around us, but they're not yet finished. And Jeffrey and I do 3 months at a time, and this stone moves out of this sort of a mode into we're way up here. We actually are making the movements spiritually that we need to be making, but it's just not all quite ready for it to happen yet. Our grounding is pyrite, fool's gold, and it's in air, where it says, be sure that your thoughts, mental actions are the path to abundance. That ties together. We need to be mentally prepared for the changes that are going to happen around us so we can survive them quite well. And more is going to be brought forward about that. So this is kind of a sitting there week until you get to clarity, and clarity is in water. And it says you will have all the clarity you need. You're going to have several paths placed before you that will resolve your life's force situations. And this is pretty much what we had been getting, in that we all know we're sitting at a turning point, but it's really ready to pop. Nothing's saying you're going to have to wait 3 months or anything else. Everything's saying, and the fact that all those stones hit right now in the most grounding of energies means it's right now is what we're going to have to be dealing with. So, and then I pulled a card for us too, out of a fun deck that I have, called the Tarot of the Gemstones. And I like to pull stones from this because, to me, I've been through this, and I will tell you that when I've gotten several things that had crystals where they tried to put it together with card reading and stuff. Some of it was totally inaccurate. Some of it I felt like, why did they even write that? But our stone for today is the 4th card in the Major Arcana, which is the Emperor. You see at the bottom it says the Emperor. And puberite intensifies the visualization of new plans and provides the resolution required to put them into action. It promotes spiritual development and imparts clear and lucid thoughts, bringing more order to our mind. And that so totally ties together with what we saw in the garden, that we're on the corner. We know it. Our spirit's transforming. It's not quite done yet. But boy, when it hits, we're going to be where we need to be. And their interpretation of this card as the Emperor is, he's the father, masculinity, energy, control of one's thoughts, responsibility, order, and clarity. Realization of goals, putting your life into order. The solution, it's going to lead to the solution of what appear to be material problems. And so I think it ties together perfectly with what I got in the garden. So it looks like it's going to be a good week. And now I'm ready to start taking some of your questions. And we had one person who did what I always ask you to do. If you put them in early, then I get to them. Okay. I'm not going to go into all of the full tilt boogie on this one, but this woman is living in a house where both Dr. Gale and I have spoken with her, and her house is on some troubled land. So she's been trying to get a shaman in to help her. And for whatever reason, the universe is saying, nope, not right now. So what we're going to use is since it's the 13th, Friday the 13th, we're going to use the cat deck. And this is not the little kitty deck or the bunny deck that I use on Sundays. This is real cats, and I like this deck. So, we're going to see about Catherine and her shaman. Okay, what am I going to do? Yeah, you're being delayed from seeing him for good reason. This is the Five of Pentacles. This is the card in the traditional deck that has the people in the snow. It's just a mismatch for him and you right now. And he just, you just need to wait there, but you are building a strong foundation for yourself. This gentleman, because King of Wands reversed, is not the person to do it, but you're on the right path. You're on the path to the world. The world is the ending of a cycle. It's just when he shows up, he's going to be helpful to you, but there's been a reason that you've been held out, that he's been held away from you. Let me see if I can get a clearer reading on what's going on. I'm going back to the comments section, guys, so get rid of hers. I'm thinking on a way to word this question. Some people are asking elemental questions. Good time of year to ask it because they're about to come storming across again with the equinox on March 20th. But let's see if we can figure out. I'm trying to get a time card for when the person that can help you the most is going to show up. Well, you got the Chariot first, which means it's coming. But then I got it's 2 to 3 weeks or 2 to 3 months away because of, and it's as much universal energy around your property as it is the person coming in to help you. The other half of your question kind of was, should I go looking for someone else? You can always look for someone else and they may have a better answer for you. I'm just sitting here. I'm just saying. So you might want to try that. But let's see what other questions we have. Your birthday's on St. Patrick's Day. Yay, Barbara. You're going into a 3-year, so you're going to be able to work and communicate with more people. Your own personal year this year will be a 3-year. It's in universally a 1-year, which you get by adding together the digits that make up the year 2026. Works out to that. It works out to be a 1. So a 3-year, look up your 3 personal year, Barbara, and that'll give you a clear idea of where you're going in the coming year. But that's a good year. 3 is an excellent year. This last year was a year for you to get your individual relationships worked out, the one-on-one relationships work out. And so I've always liked the 3 years when I was in them. They've always ended up being good years for me. 3 is like a triangle. It's the strongest form that we have in sacred geometry. It's a really good day. Let's see, what else? What do we see for Barbara's 3 year? We're going to use a crystal deck. You have some major changes this year. You got the Tower. And the Tower in this deck is calcite. And calcite's a stone that lots of light reflects through it. It's a very powerful stone. Also comes in all colors, all kinds, and all shapes. And your foundation to this year is chrysoprase, which is a stone of change, but it's also a stone of great calm, and it's going to be a calmer year for you than there has been. You're still dealing with problems in your heart and how to heal them, and I think you can turn those around. You got the 10 of coins. You got tiger's eye, which is always a lucky stone. And so I think you're going to have some real good luck this year, which may be just getting your house problems settled. And you have a reverse 7 of wands, which means you're not going to have to be on the defensive all the time. Right side up, if you can see that stone. It's beautiful. It's called azorite with ruby in it. And it's a real interesting stone about if you're looking for a stone to work with that can help you build your defenses up. In your case, in your reading, it was upside down. So it's saying you don't need that kind of red energy and the grounding energy of the azorite. But I think you're going to have a lovely year. I think it's going to be a good year for you. Okay, let's see who else we got. Okay. I'm going to use a regular deck for this one because you'll understand the symbols more clearly if they're in regular tarot card terms. And it is getting to be Valentine's Day tomorrow, isn't it? Let's see. Does James think of me romantically? I hope everybody's having a beautiful day. I know some more storms are building up. It's lovely here today. It's going to be in the 80s. And then we're going to have thunderstorms tomorrow. See if does James think of Sarah romantically. No, he doesn't, and that's a good thing because James is not that mature of a person. He shows up as 2 pages and a reverse knight. He's lied to you in the past. There's a lot of reasons now. You see a lot of really good stuff in him, but knowing him before was costly for you. So, no, he doesn't think of you romantically, and for you and I, this is harsh, but it's what the cards are telling me. It's a good thing because James has some problems with the truth. And I think it's just inside himself. I don't think he wakes up in the morning and says, how can I tell stories about this today? Okay. Do the elementals that live across the ley line from me have any message that I'm not hearing properly? Okay. Let's see. We're going to go back to the crystal cards. Because elementals really like crystals. And I'm going to be talking some more about them. I went out to visit Hogarth to talk to him about the year change, which is in the olden days. New Year's was actually tied to the equinox of the sun in the spring. So, and they moved it back to December and made January the first month of the year, because Janus was the two-faced god in Rome, and he could see forward and backward, and then they could tie things that had to do with the new year to Saturnalia. And Saturnalia is also why we have Christmas at Christmas, because the Romans were mean, but they weren't mean enough to send people out into the deserts in the middle of the winter. And so everybody really thinks Christ was born in the spring. But in order to bring in more groups of people into the faith, they tied the Christmas celebration and the story to Saturnalia, which did two things. It gave the Christian story a sort of a place to peg itself to, and it took over a Roman festival. Easter is also tied to a Roman goddess. The Catholic Church was real good at taking people's holidays and setting them. What do the elements have to say to you? Ooh, you get some power for powerful stones. Okay. No, they think you're listening to them just fine. You got smoky quartz here. And whenever they've told you things, you followed through with them, and they've been real happy about it. Now, I realize it's the Ten of Swords. That's because they've been happy with how you followed through with it. And they've told you things that they're glad you took to heart. Because you got the Page of Cups, the rhodochrosite. Love rhodochrosite. Beautiful stone. Lepidolite it's the last mineral that's made in volcanoes. It's kind of really light. It's not light. I mean, if you feel it, it feels like a stone. But compared to some of the other stuff that gets made in volcanoes, this is light. And it's you've always managed to look at what's going on around you and plant things and take the ideas and work with them. But two things that tell me you're doing it right is your out cards are the Diamond and the Tiger's Eye. And the Diamond is the Hierophant, which means you understand them at a level most people don't, Sarah. You really feel the closeness of them and the importance of their messages. And you're doing everything that they want you to do. So they're blessing your life with that. So got 2 10s in there, which means you're completing the tasks. I'd say you don't need to worry about that at all, Sarah. Other people want to know, just sit and listen. And when you get a nudge, go on with the nudge. And if Sarah and I could sit and talk, I'm sure she'd tell me she's had a lot of nudges that have taken her places she didn't expect to go, but they ended up being good once she got there. Oh, here's always. Okay, PJ, when your son gets his life in order, my son, even though he's lovely and 50 and traveling around the country doing what he loves to do, it's not orderly. But let's see what we got. We're going to do regular tarot. Her son to get his life in order. I'm not going to give you any personal advice on how he can do that because he'd have to ask for that. But I can just tell you if what's going to happen in his perspective is going to make things a little easier for you. That's a good card, isn't it? Well, apparently he's had some problems with the law or with people making judgments on him. But this spring, he's going to turn over. This spring, you're going to start to see some new leaves turning over. He's in a judgment period right now. He really needs to take this card and turn it around, because if but he really is ready to let go of the burden he's built around himself. So what I see for him at the end during springtime is him finding whole new goals. Star being new goals. So I think this spring is the best time. I think he is weighed down with what's been troubling him. I don't think you should call him up and say the reader said you're going to make your way clear with this, because he's still struggling in his own heart. His judgment's reversed. It means he sees what the judgment is. He knows, and judgment is really on the universe giving you a real chance at your own private actions and how to change them. And a lot of times that's the hardest thing, is to say, what I did with all the knowledge I had at the time, but it probably wasn't the best, and to move on. Oh, Catherine does a violet flame. Also, Catherine, I don't know if you saw my last psychic profiles, which was a week ago, and it was was not quite a week ago, and was with a lovely lady named, oh, and now I'm blanking on her name. I'm not good with the names I know, but she does the last mask. She runs a retreat center where she trains shamans, and she has shaman friends all over the country. So you might want to go look that up and see if there's a way you can reach through to her if you can't find someone else. Barbara, I read your thing on the 17th, 2 and 7. Wait, maybe I didn't read it right. 2, February's 2. 2 plus 1 is 3, and 3 plus 7 is 10. Oh, so you're in a 2 year. I'm sorry. I did that whole reading wrong because I didn't slow down long enough. For those of you who don't know how to figure out what year you're in, you take your birth month, which in her case is the second month of the year, add the 2 plus the 1 plus the 7, but that equals 10, not 11, which is the way I added it in my head. And you add that 11 to the fact we're in a 1 year. So take the 10, the 1 and the 1. You're in a 2 year. You're in a personal 2 year. And thank you for catching that, Barbara. And we're universally in a 1 year. This has got to be the easiest of all years if you want to figure out what your personal year is. Because all you have to do is add the digits of your birthday together and then add 1 to it. So thank you, Mimi. I like them too. Okay. I've been trying to talk to my guides. I had a dream that one showed himself to me. Was that really my guide or just a dream? No, it was your guide. If you've been trying to speak to your guide, trust it was your guide and see how it works for you. Okay. Hearing guides. I don't know that you want to hear your guides specifically. The time they've talked to me, they told me to go home and not leave until COVID was over, which was, I looked the date up the other day. It was on a Tuesday in February of 2020. I pulled out long before the rest of the world figured it needed to leave, because my guides in the back seat of my car said, guess what, you're going home. And I've told that story before. So I went home and did what they told me to do. But when my guides just sort of subtly guide me, I turned on YouTube the other day and I found a channel I'd never seen before. And it was a guy talking about all the myths around fairies, from where they came from in the Far East, where the term we use, fairy, kind of comes from when you look at the Indo-European languages. And then it went through fairies in England and fairies in Scotland and fairies in Ireland and fairies in Wales. And they talked about, in the rest of Europe, they call them elves. Elves are the equivalent of a fairy. And they talked, it was about an hour show. We talked about all the different myths surrounding them. And the fairies I see, my fairies that come around me, for the most part, they're big. They're full-sized or sort of smaller than, but more adult size. The little Tinkerbell fairies, that was a Victorian creation. If you look back in literature, you look back in drawings, all the way back to ancient Greece and Rome, the fairies were tall people. And in Ireland, they weren't just tall people, they were taller than all the other people. And then they were the Daeduanan, and they were the spirit and the energy that founded Ireland. And my relationships to fairies and guides go back to those guys. So, but I was just sitting there and I said, oh, I wonder what's on YouTube's, and I found that show. Did my guides lead me to it? Did the universe lead me to it? Am I making more of it than I should? Who knows? But it was interesting. Thank you so much, Christy. I really appreciate it. And the other thing is, you guys can buy me a cup of coffee. You can just type that in search engine and say crystal directions, and it'll tell you how to do that. And they take less money from me than YouTube does. I know YouTube's really easy because it's right there, but they don't take the percentage YouTube does. And I get a chance to video back a thank you to you, because every time I get someone buys me a cup of coffee, there's a little button I push and I send you a video right back saying thank you. I've had these dreams come true after a few months. Do you think I'm a medium? Yep. Sure. I'll tell you the thing about people saying I'm a channeler, I'm a medium, I'm a psychic, I'm a card flipper, whatever. We're all working with energy. And if that's how energy is working through you right now, Cerise, great for you. Great for you. And let me see, I'm going to pull a card about your mediumship. I'm going to pull it out of the... Ooh, since it is Friday the 13th, I got out this deck too, the Witching Hour Oracle. I'm going to pull a card for Cerise. This is one of those decks I got for when I work Halloween parties. But since I had a black cat on my thing today, I thought I'd do that. You guys have a lot of interesting questions today. I'm glad I decided to come on. And for you, I got dance, which means coming to terms with yourself is going to help you be free to understand who you are. And I'll read you the interpretation of dance. And it's the page wands in the tarot. And that means that you're in the process of spreading the word and learning how to do it. Dance is one of the most natural forms of expression humans can have, interwoven with song and dance into ritual celebrations thousands of years old. When this card has danced into your spread, it's guiding you towards finding bliss through your self-expression, bravery, and breaking away from the need to be perfect or put together. Self-expression isn't about flawlessness. It's about giving the information you have. So if you worry about, oh my God, but what if I tell somebody something? So you tell them. I mean, what they do with the information is their business, how they work with it. So if I were you, I really feel you are a medium. I don't know what else you've studied. Okay, guys, this is going to be my commercial for the day. Jeffrey and I are teaching tarot, and we are going to teach tarot. We've booked it. We want to start on February 18th, but we will not start until the class gets to at least 10 people, because we found that that's a number that works right, and people get to work off of each other. The other thing we're going to be doing when I'm working with Jeffrey is we're going to be using his the Shadow Work Tarot Workbook, which is available in a digital format. You don't have to get the book. I got the book because it's hard to hold up digital formats. And we're going to use that as a basis for teaching you how to do. We're going to teach you the yes, no's and the typical readings. But this will give you a way you can work with it every day by yourself. And for those of you who heard me work with numerology, although I blundered it, sorry about that. I actually am very good at understanding what 1 through 9 means. We take any of numerology and extend that into the tarot. So because, as you know, the minor arcana are 1 through 10. And we teach you the suits and how to read using those numbers. And it makes it so much easier. Because once you understand those cards, that's about this much of the deck. And the major arcana is about this much of the deck. So it breaks it down into a system so you can understand it. Working with the cards can help clarify the visions and the things you're seeing. I've had several people who took my class. They didn't end up being kick-ass card readers, but it ended up opening a way for them to tie into their own powers. Now we go to a business question. That's not my business, but her business. And it's, why is my gas and oil owner not finishing my contract and not responding to my emails? Okay. What's going on with Divergent Moon's oil and gas lawyer? Are you sure his name's not on a certain list of people? It's on 3 million pages of stuff and he's not sitting around worrying. Tell him to get, maybe if he focuses on your contracts, he won't have to worry about other things. But okay, why is Divergent Moons? Okay, it's a yes and a no. His office is real disorganized right now. I don't know if he's changed partners or done something, but his office is very disorganized. Your instincts are right. Whatever you think the reason he's holding it up is, you're right, because that's you, the Queen of Wands. You're understanding what's going on. You just need to go tell him, stop it, go ahead and move this and get him off his butt. Get him from quit hanging around, being the hangman. May just take phone calls and maybe threats. Because when lawyers don't do what lawyers are supposed to do, there are ways you can deal with them. And but it's his own disorganization. And I think the squeakiest wheel gets the most noise. I don't know how close he is. I don't know how much money's involved. I don't know what all's going on with that. But you definitely need to rattle his cage. He's got everything he needs. He's just sitting there being lazy. Jean, may I ask a question? Yes. Okay, let's see. Oh, Fran. I'm going to say by the end of 2026, because the year would take you into 2027. So that's how my mind's thinking of the question. Okay. I get no, but it's because, it's because of this card. You don't have all your ducks in a row. You don't know what you need to do. You're going to find something you're really interested in this summer. You're going to let go of your disappointment about not being able to get to it all. This is not being able to get the enterprise moving. And part of the problem is you haven't gotten in the boat with you haven't found the right realtors or people to work with you. Does that make any sense? It's a yes and a no. So it's going to depend on how much you want to push it, how much you want to go find a realtor who's willing to work with you. But I think if you go out this summer, you're going to find something you do like. And I really see it in early 2027. Don't ask me why. It's one of those, don't ask the psychic why they see what they see. They just see it. If you have a landman's number, Divergent Moon, I do know something about landmen because I used to date one. We used to travel all over the country together. Lots of fun. I'd get a hold of the landman and ask him what steps you can take. Ask him if he knows a lawyer you can go to and get some advice about how to get your lawyer off his butt. They all know all that stuff. That's all stuff I don't know much about. I know a lot about oil leases from having dated a landman. It was the least interesting part of our conversations, may I say, because I didn't have anything like that. Hi, Dr. Gail. Someone saw face of an elf on her tree in the last week. That's good. Will my daughter get a job in the city? Okay. Why do I have a feeling you have real mixed feelings about this? We're going to ask the kitty cards. We're going to ask the cat cards. Because that other deck had lawyer energy on it, and we need to let it calm down for a bit. Will your daughter? It's a yes and a no. She's been offered jobs there before and she didn't take them, and I don't know why. But the new person who's offering the job, he's a good guy. He knows what he's talking about. She's just worried that something about the living circumstances or the workplace she'd be working in would be more difficult. And I think as she tries to keep moving towards it, things keep bumping up in the way. But she either needs to cut off clearly where she is, which is this is the Ten of Swords, so she can go into that job without any impositions. But the best cards in here are this guy, the guy who's offering her the job's not a bad person, and that she looks upon this job somehow as getting her out of a cage. But because she has some really unfond memories about where she's working now, she tends to project those into the new job. When I counsel people, and I do a lot of personal counseling and guess where my life is, what do you see around it? I see a lot of people that have had a really horrible job experience, and they carry their fears and their anxieties about that job experience into the next job. And you can either look at the worst boss you ever had and make them be an object lesson on how to never to treat people again, or you can carry them as a burden. They can become like a shadow life thing in your life. I learned more about how to treat people and how to be with people from I had, especially in public broadcasting, I had a truly hideous boss. I had 3 of them actually. And I had one that was really good, and then she protected me from the other 3. And then when she left, I found out how bad they were. And part of how I could build volunteer organizations as well as I could at that job and then after I left was because I always treated people very well. And she just needs to do a little growing up about that. But she could get the job. It's going to be her decision. Let's see. Okay. I believe a ley line goes right through my children's rooms. They are grown and have flown, but I'm wondering if it was good for them or was it difficult. Well, first of all, if they're out of the way, you can, that's just something that's an experience they need to carry with them. I have some friends that lived in some dark houses. I never lived in a haunted house. I think the universe was very nice to me about that. But I've had friends, they've told me about stuff that happened in the houses they were growing up in, and I went, and you stayed? I mean, what is your problem? But they learned a lot, and they've learned how to handle things later on in their life, so that's not bad. But Pamela, you can go in their room and take a dowsing. This is the dowsing tool I use. You could use anyone. The reason I like this one, it's real heavy, so I can use it outside or inside. It's really heavy. It won't move unless it's got a reason to move. And you can walk through, you can start in another part of your house and say, lead me to the ley line. And if it swings that way, then you go that way. However that works out for you. You can do the same thing with a true set of dowsing rods. And you can say, which way is the ley line? And both my rods are going, that's the way out to where the ley line is near my property. And you can go check out the energetics in their room, and then you can clear them out yourself. You can also use crystals with points to direct the energy out of your house. That's another thing you can do. If you want to contact me by email or set up a reading or something, I can give you a quick lesson in how to do some house clearing things. Because you've seen Tim Walter. He was actually on my psychic profiles. He's the guy who runs Night Rose, which is a school in northern England near the Yorkshire Moors, where he teaches people all over England how to clear out energetics that are locked in their place. And trust me, I know America has a long and rich history, but England's had people on it since the last ice age. And that's true. You dig down 3 feet in England anywhere, you're going to find something. So they have a lot of energetic lines that they work with. He's had a lot of practice, and he's taught me a lot of things. And as you know, I did that lady's house where I figured out the energetics and what stones she needed to place around her house, in essence, to build a big grid around her house. And he helped me with that and how to identify energy for that. So I don't know if that helps you, but I think it was there, but it didn't leave them permanently scarred. It was just a life lesson they needed to learn. Okay, let's see if you're going to find a job. See if you're going to go find the job you want. Use the kitty cards since everybody asks about jobs. Well, 2535 Apple. Find a job. Yes, very plainly. And you kind of thought, oh, nobody's going to want this because I can't find something that I need to do completely sitting. But this is new money coming towards you, Six of Pentacles. And it's going to help you deal with your restrictions, which is that you have to be sitting. And it's the jobs out there. You've actually heard about it. Someone's spoken to you about it. And it's going to require a little bit of training. And you're going to have to go in and do a little bit of work. That's the Seven of Pentacles, planting the seeds and what you need to learn. But I think you'll get it. And I really see that happening in 4 to 7 weeks. If you follow up on every lead you know around you. And the best way to do that is tell everyone you know you're looking for something. And somebody's already talked to you about a situation. You may not have heard it that way, but will my daughter ever get her life in order? Okay. Okay. It's the boyfriend or the husband or the person she got involved with early on that's kind of led her into a place that's really been costly for her. It's the Eight of Pentacles reversed. She had a chance to do some really good things and she didn't do it. But she is going to be offered a new chance by some people. Now, the question's going to be, has she learned from the lessons that were handed to her? This is Judgment reversed. Judgment is when we learn from the lessons that have been handed to us and we open up and become a new, more improved person, where we improve by our experiences instead of getting bitter. But what I see her is she's ready to throw it all off and move. So be supportive to her. I would not suggest you call her up and say, the reader saw that deadbeat that you were married to or around for so long, and I always told you so. What I would suggest you do is listen very carefully for words from her about she's seeking redemption from the situation she's been in. And she will be able to, when she's tired enough of being tired enough, she'll solve it. I have a question about manifestation I'm currently working on. Is going, unlike usual, which seeing nothing, you're not seeing anything this time. Okay, what I'm reading that is you've manifested in the past, it's worked because you saw things. You're manifesting something now, you're not seeing it, and nothing's coming through. So let's see if I got the answer right. Yes, look, yes, I got the right. Your problem is you don't know what you really want. You're balancing the Two of Pentacles. You don't know what you really want to bring in, and that's what's blocking you. So I suggest you sit down with a piece of paper. If you do that, talk into your phone, talk to the wall, talk to a mirror, but you need to start realigning what you're thinking about, because you don't have it pinned down yet. Okay. I gave someone hope about her son. There's always hope, guys. Well, hey, tell me what you want me to read about you, Laura, and I'll be glad to read you. I would love to share some kind of light. I would love to have some kind of light. Power would be so interesting. Well, keep working on staying in touch with your spiritual side. We're all going through a great awakening. Oh, I would love to learn tarot, but I can't because I have short-term. That can be a problem. Um, Find a lawyer who doesn't think it's rinky-dink. There's some lawyer out there that treats every client with respect. And I'd go through your landman and I'd threaten him with something. He sounds like a person who I would not want to do business with. Okay, people are replying to what I wrote to them, told them about, and I can't really. Okay. Hello. How do you see my spiritual awakening journey and my career? Okay. Let's see if you have a spiritual awakening. I can tell you right now, everybody's awakening if you want to right now. It's just the way the planets are moving and the stars are aligning and everything's happening. But let's see. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to pull a witching hour oracle for you. And see where are you at? Where is Sheila? I know, life coach. Okay, where's the life coach lady at? Ooh, yeah, this is interesting. If you're into spiritualism, this won't scare you. The hanging bones, and the hanging bones were things. They were kind of a divination way that people did. So we're going to see. And it really means you really are starting to see the things you need to see. And this is sort of a compilation of all the energy that's in the page cards. There are signs all around you for those who know where to look and how to see them. Fortunately, you're among the special few who are aware of these signs and know where to go with them. These signs are not mistakes. Once you begin to honor them, you will come to realize the spirit that's directing you through little whispers in your entire life. Do not question the signs when one is presented to you. Don't be a doubting Thomas. This says it's all opening up when you're open. Rejoice in a wink from the universe and act accordingly. If the sign feels like positive, then honor it. If the sign feels like a warning, take heed. So I think, yes, you are at a point of waking up, but you need to take heed and pay attention to it and work with it. And I'm going to see. I'm almost out of time, guys. Okay. This lady says, I don't know, Pamela, because several people have been able to get through, but they just do it after the show. You just go in and put in your search engine, buy me a cup of coffee, and then it'll say to go to crystal directions. Okay. That's all I can tell you about it, because when I go in, it recognizes me as me, and that's not much help. Okay, let's see. Will my son get accepted at Penn State Medical School? He had the interview. Good, let's see. Yes. You've always been behind him, and he's seen it, and he's very psychic, but he likes the sciencey part of this. Whatever other things he's looked at working in, they would make him feel trapped. He's definitely going into what's his strength, and it's going to be the making of his world. So I'd say that's a pretty good yes. If that's where he wants to go, I hope he makes it. Okay. Nice to see some of you live too. I'm glad so many of you are here to see me. Maybe I should move more shows to Friday. I don't know. There's some really good questions here, and I'd love to stay on and answer them. I think it's perfectly, but that's really kind of a broad question to answer in 5 cards, and I hate to be quick, but I'd have to be quick. Thank you for your super sticker. Okay. And thank you. She found the cup of coffee through my website. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for if you get in, if you are a subscriber to my channel, you will always get a notice when I'm going to have meetings, and I always post them the day before, and you have 24 hours to type in whatever message you want. So you don't have to wait till the last before when we're going off the air to type it in. So if you want to get your question answered, that's the best way to do it. Thanks everybody for coming. Talk to you later, Dr. Gail. Bye.